right, hi everyone. This is Liz from the Barletta team at Ligris, and I am here with two of my favorite people, Veronica Lujan and William Vaquerano of the Viva team at EXP. Hi guys. How are you guys?
We're good. How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Yes. Well, first and foremost, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming today, and I just wanted to shout out to the amazing agents too that you have really started collaborating with and growing your team. And like, if anybody follows you guys on Instagram, like, you know that you're doing big things, and it's just really cool that you were able to take a couple minutes and chat with me. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, at least, I think a lot of people wonder, like, how did this power couple meet? Like, obviously you're both real estate agents, but it's interesting to know. I would like to know, and I'm sure viewers would like to know too, like, how did this happen? Where
Let me tell you a story,
yeah,
Liz.
I stole all of his buyers
She stole,
at an open house.
she did.
I
She
did. I actually did.
Yeah. I
well,
listed
you
a,
knew it was fate then.
yeah, no, I listed a house. And then the very next day, a better house goes on the market on the same street.
Listed by me.
I didn't
Of
know her. And it was my house was higher priced, less bedrooms, and an awkward setup. And hers was like totally renovated, lower price. It was just like, it was like the perfect storm for her.
Yeah.
For me, and she stole my buyers, like she said.
So they came to my house instead
Oh
of his.
my.
Like,
I was flagging people down. Come to my open house. Nobody
this
was
poor
coming.
guy had like the whole flag thing, and you know, like he prepared really well for this one.
Yeah.
And I'm just, he always said he was moonwalking into this open house like nobody. Like,
Yeah.
and then she gets like, I get like 12 hours. He gets no offers in the first week.
Yeah, it took me about 2-3 weeks to go
But
under.
then
But
he came
Yeah.
through my open house to like kind of see like what was going
Yeah,
on. Who's
where's
the
the competition?
And then-
Right.
so just listen up. Before my open house, I door knocked the whole neighborhood for an hour, and I found a seller. So I figured, you know, if I'm not going to sell my house, she's got a buyer for my other house.
There you
Or
go.
that person does, I said. So I walked over with the intention of like, let me check out this house, but also maybe whoever was running the open house
Yeah.
has a buyer for this off market. So I
Mhm.
go over there and I open the door, kind of pissed off, but whatever. And I
this
see,
beautiful lady standing
I'm
there.
like, whoa.
Forget about the
I
house.
say a couple words and then I scope out the house, and you know, the rest was history.
That's so cool. So you had not met like across transactions before?
Never.
Because you guys both had been in the industry for a while before that.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This was 2017. So yeah, we were both in the business for about 4 years. So yeah,
Yeah.
and we were in the same areas.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, we never crossed paths.
That's so cool. Well, when it's fate, it's fate.
But it's meant to be. Yes.
So one other question I have, because I think it's an important thing for anybody who's like trying to grow a team, because you guys have a successful team. You know, how do you establish like a collaborative environment for people, like to attract people? Like, why do people want to be around you guys and what you're doing? Because it's very exciting. Like, again, you follow you on Instagram, you're doing all these things, and it's, to me, it's no, you know, shock that people want to do business with you, but especially in such a competitive, you know, area, and also competitive, like with so many different companies out there. Like, why are you guys being so successful in actually attracting so many people to work with you?
We pay them.
Yeah.
We don't pay anybody. We don't pay. But everybody wants to win, right? Everybody wants to, I always say, we're hungry, we want to make money, we want to have fun.
Yeah.
Right. We have that concept. Everybody that comes here, we always say EXP is not a magic pill. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Right. We just teach them how to put in the work, and then they see either from us or from people that are actually committing to the process that they're turning business.
Yeah.
And the beautiful part of it, it's like it's all very organic, right? Like there is no like, we're not having like to hire a recruiter, like anybody like pushing people to come here just to hang their license. Like it's been a growth. Like we've been with EXP 2.5 years, and it was just me and Will when we first started. We're at 73 agents now. And I remember like the first, I would look at Will and I'm like, are we gonna make it? Like, are we gonna be able to make this happen? Like, we wanted to build like a culture. Like, we came from one of the companies at J Barrett. They had an amazing culture. And I'm like, how can we create that again? Where people would feel like they're not like they're welcome, they could grow, they have tools, collaboration. So we wanted to build that from the beginning. That was our goal. Like, let's just build that community here, and you build it and they'll come, right? Like it's what has been happening. So now it's like very organic, and then you bring people and then they see what others are doing and they're like, wow, it's real, right? It is happening.
You start building leaders within the group too, and they start attracting other people as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I know whenever I visit and there's just always, there's like an energy about the office, definitely. And like, it almost feels more kind of like family, you know, not just like an office. So was that strategic and like, or did it just kind of happen because that's just the type of people you are?
Well, there has been a few times that we have kind of like steer people away from like joining our group, just because you want to have the right people, the right energy. You want to have people that are positive. So
Yeah.
there has been a couple
Yeah.
occasions where like, I don't think you're a good fit for this company. We're not the brokers of EXP or anything.
Not
Could
the
join
company,
it,
but our tribe.
but our
right?
tribe, right?
Yeah.
So we were, like I said, like we had an intention from the beginning that we wanted for this group to be energetic, and it's so funny because we, you know, obviously people see us and you attract the same type of people. Like we're building leaders, right? But we also, like, a lot of us are Spanish, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, it's just organically keeps growing and growing.
Yeah, no, and as an attorney working with, you know, you both and also like other agents within the office, it's cool because I get to see it from even new agents. They're
Right.
kind of being trained in the way that you do business. So when I'm working with someone who's new within your office, I feel like I'm working with an extension of you guys because they do similar things. They explain things similar ways. They set themselves up in a certain way too, to other agents. And so it's very comfortable for me too, just working with, I mean, you've been able to really foster that kind of extension of yourselves into the new agents you're bringing in, which is really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Like it's
Yeah.
good to know because we're constantly, like, I feel sometimes you talk and it's like, are they listening?
Yeah.
But they are, right? Like, you know, it's like, are they paying attention? But
like-
they actually are paying attention.
Yeah, no, what
I
we,
talk a lot, he doesn't. That's why it's like,
and that's and I love it. That's why I'm with her.
Yeah.
But you want to go into a place where you could, you know, like-minded people help each other grow instead of complaining about things, right? We complain, but then we get over it and then move on.
We're human. Everyone's human.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of environment that we like, and everybody that we kind of attract, that's what they want.
Yeah.
Right? So we call it the EXP family or the tribe because that's the vibe that we're attracting, right? We like to hang out even after work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's our
No, I know. I felt again, I'm like, it's just so much fun. Like everyone's at game nights and all these things. It's really cool.
and when do they work? When do they sell real estate?
Right.
You're gonna have fun.
Yeah, you have
would
to.
really take a toll on you. So you gotta have some
It
fun.
does because, well, this is the industry. I feel like, you know, you see it on every meme that you see on Instagram related to like becoming a real estate agent. It's like, oh yeah, you got all the time in the world. Where in reality, like, sure, but if you don't set yourself up with a dedicated schedule and work those fun things in, you know, it just either, you know, it plummets you down and you just don't do anything, or it takes over your life too. So it's like this real fine balance. And that kind of comes to my next question. Like, how do you, I mean, you have kids, you have like a life, like how do you balance it all?
Time blocking.
Mhm.
Time blocking. It's huge.
So it's funny, like we were supposed to be at 9, right? We get up really early, right? So like we're up, he's up at 4, I'm up at 5, go to the gym. Then like it's almost very robotic. Like
Yeah.
if you see us like in a like behind cameras, you'll be like, wow, they do the same thing
Right on
over and
schedule.
over and over. It's like, I know if I don't get in the shower by 7:25, I'm gonna be late.
Right,
And my daughter's
right.
school, because she has to be by 8:30, so then we have to be here. So we literally like walk into the office at 8:55 because that's the time that gets us here, right? So Same thing with our business. That's just part of our getting to work. But then same thing, 9 o'clock, 9:30, we jump on the phone, we start prospecting. It's like very, very like structure, because we all obviously have kids, we have dogs, we have extracurricular activities. So we want to make sure that we fit in the lead generation and all the stuff that is important in our day.
If you don't control your time is controlling you.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, if you just have your calendar wide open, then you're just going to say yes to anything that comes at any point.
Yeah.
Right? For us, we structured the day out. When people ask, well, actually, we tell them, when do you want to meet? Do you want to meet here or here? Only two options available. Right? Sometimes it goes into the gray and you have to kind of move things around, but very few times.
Yeah.
Because we want to have it. Right?
And because, I feel like the reason why we're doing what we're doing is because we want to spend more quality time with our family, with our kids, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to take time away from my daughter, from Valentina, by going into a listing appointment. Like she's my listing appointment during her time. So it's my undivided attention, right? So, 4 o'clock hits and it's her time. Then, 9 o'clock hits in the morning. It's not Valentina's time anymore, right? It's like it switches back to my business. So that helps us really first, like spend quality time and undivided attention, but also like we don't work on the weekends, which is, something that I've always wanted to kind of get to that point. Obviously, as a new agent, you might have to work on the weekends, obviously open houses, but as you graduate and start becoming more, intentional about your calendar and your time blocking, then you could really control your time when you want to work and when you want to work. So,
well, and I love that it was like just such a simple answer as time blocking. Like it is literally the solution to being able to do it all. But a lot of agents that I talk to just, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work in my area. There's just a lot of excuses surrounding it. And I think that you both have committed to the point where you're like, the solutions are out there. Like it's not, the answers have all, we all know the answers. We know the answers to losing weight. We know the answers to being healthy. We know all of those things. It's just about implementation. And you guys are just masters at that. So I have a question about like, as a team, since obviously you had your individual careers beforehand, but now as a team, what would you think is like a big success story or a memorable achievement that you guys have had as a team?
Well, this year, our goal was to travel as much as we can, as much as we could and can. So we already, in the beginning of the year, we printed out a calendar and we just put everything on throughout the year where we wanted to go. She's been talking about Thailand for the longest time. And this year we're traveling 4 different countries this year, right? Already paid for, already set, we're headed there. So that was huge for us.
And that in the personal life, I think in the team, I don't know if you were talking about personal as well. I think that's a big win for us because we usually just kind of wing it. And then when it happens, then it never happens, right? Because you don't put it in the calendar. So for us to be able to plan our entire year, we still have to fit like a Europe trip somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm convincing him that we're going to go to Europe.
Oh, there's no convincing. I'm in.
But I think one of
Madrid.
One of the things that I've, especially when agents start coming in like during the day here, like during the week, and they sit side by side with us, you start seeing the results. Like there's a few girls here, like, and I'll mention their names, Jen, Stephanie, and Tatiana. They have been like showing up, making their calls, and they all book expire listing appointments, which they're fairly new, right? And for you to convert an expire appointment, it takes skill, and and you have to take the BS with the good with the bad, but it's hard, right? And they were able to book. One of them already has one of their agreement, has another one coming. So seeing that it's like oh my God, like they're walking, right? Like they were just babies not too long ago, and they're finally doing it, which we want all of our agents to be listing agents, right? Like just because that gives you more freedom. So just seeing that it's super cool.
I love that. I love both of these answers because on the one hand, I think that it is so important to take that time as a family and have those personal goals and actually not just have the goal, but implement them, right? And we had a similar situation this year too, where we always were like, we want to go here, we want to go there. And then at the end of the year, like, we what do we do? We
Right.
didn't do anything, and we did the same
Get
thing.
it away.
We got our calendar for like, these are, now with school, kindergarten coming, like you have more like, calendared events and when they actually have time off. So it actually was a good thing for us because we're like, okay, this is when we're free and this is where we're going. And this is like the first time at the beginning of the year we actually have like plans, which I think is awesome.
Yes.
So that's great that you guys do too. And again, I love the fact that your memorable like real estate experience has been seeing your agents grow, which just talks to the type of leader you are. All right, so who do you guys admire most, dead or alive? Who is your sort of number one person that you think of when you need inspiration?
Tony Robbins for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
That's, that's a good one. I've had so many influential people, right? At the end of it, I'm always just chasing like a better version of myself. And I know that sounds like kind of like ego, but I'm like, oh, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself and through where I had to go through in order to be where I am right now. So, but there's so many people, I just can't name one off the top of my head because so many people have impacted me in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
if you so well every day, like he's the type of person that he'll be. It is true. Like I'm okay with like, okay, I'm gonna take a little break of, motivational stuff and stuff like that. Like I'm gonna read a parent's book or whatever. Like Will is always on that hunt. Like let me see how much can I stretch my growth, which
Yeah.
is kind of cool.
Which
So
is amazing. It's actually funny because when we were trying to book this for those listening, the first thing I said, I was like, so what time works for you guys, but not at 5 a.m. because I know that you guys would do whatever it takes to like make it work in your schedule. And I did the 5 a.m. for a little bit. You guys convinced me too, but it's hard.
we just got out of one
Yeah.
challenge, and
Yeah,
we ended up collecting $1,900 from this one challenge because that's how many times people.
Talk a little bit about these types of challenges.
Yeah, so every couple months, I think people need a little break in between, but every couple months we get a group of agents. This time it was kind of cool because it was agents, there was a couple lenders, no attorneys, but we had a couple lenders in there and agents from like other companies. So it was a nice little mix.
Yeah.
And the challenge is you have to get up at 5 a.m., not 5:01. If you get up at 5:01, you're lost. Like you have to pay $100. So every time if you miss a challenge task throughout the day, you have to pay $100 to the group. And so 5 o'clock, then you have to do your journal. You have to journal 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things, affirmations, and 3 goals for the day before 5:30 a.m. So you have to submit that in like a picture into the group. Then you have to do a workout for at least 30 minutes. Then have 10 meaningful conversations with your prospects and a social media post. So it was interesting because we were very strict this time. Like Tatiana was running this one and she was like on it. And there was a couple people that I felt bad. I was like, we would call them before and they just didn't wake up or they just didn't submit the journal or something. So the good thing is once you collect all that money, we use it to go out all together and do like an outing.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of going in indoor skydiving or like something really cool, like bubble soccer or something. So you look forward to that after the.
Yeah. It hurts less when it's for a good cause like that at the end.
Yeah.
Because, like the same question that you asked, like, how do you structure your day? And it's time blocking, right? So most of them that did the challenge, most of them don't have anything structured. This created structure within their day. And they all, even though they complained about it, I'm waking up so early. Most of them loved the fact that they had so much extra time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's what you do with those hours, those minutes, right? Those seconds.
Yeah.
So if you have more of that time, it's going to impact you some way, somehow.
Sure.
It's got to, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. And yeah, it might be painful. So is going to the gym, but then eventually you get stronger, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And what time are you guys going to bed? I'm just curious.
8:30. I'm like 8:30.
Okay.
I mean, I head to bed at 8:30 and then it kind of goes into 9:15 or something like that. But
so that was the only way that I could survive during that challenge was like going to bed no later than 9 because I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
But it's about adjusting your like whole world, because if you're
Right.
someone who is used to going to bed at 11, of course you're not going to be able to perform at 5. Or maybe, I don't know
And I
what.
feel and I feel like it gets so much done between 5 and 7 when the kids are sleeping, the phone is
Yeah.
not ringing. It's like a very valuable time for personal time. Like you don't even have to be working. You don't even have to do anything related to work, but like mindset, meditation, yoga, whatever you want to do, better
You know,
than sleeping. I mean, I know it's hard, but I mean, it just resets you for the day, which is great.
in a conversation with Johnny, we were like, okay, so if we start waking up earlier, like we're gonna have to go to bed earlier, so we lose out on like that evening like couple time, like watching TV. And I was like, well, wait, watching TV together, watching a stupid show, like how is that actually like relaxing our brain? I'd rather go to bed earlier, wake up earlier, and then those hours aren't. I'm not gonna watch TV at 5 a.m. Like
Oh.
you're gonna
Right,
do other
yeah.
things that are more beneficial for your soul. So it's interesting. Question about books, because I know you guys are both avid readers. What do you think would be like, so two different types of agents that you're working with? You're working with agents who are like, haven't even taken their license, or like just got their license, so they have no idea what they're doing. And then you have the agents who have been, at another company for a while, maybe. And they just want to take it to the next level. What are the two sort of best books for those types of agents, you think?
The Millionaire Real Estate Agent is probably the best book for agents trying to scale up. It might be too high level for a new agent. I don't know. I don't remember. I have to read it again. But
The Power of Now too. I think The Power of Now is another
mhm.
really good.
So many books. I just read another book. It's actually an agent now, Julie Chen. She wrote it.
Oh yeah.
It's a guide. It's like perfect for like a new agent.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you the link so maybe you could tag it. But I read it and I said, I wish I had this manual. It's a manual for what to do when you first get licensed, from interviewing brokers to the next step of like what you need for tools and what to do on a point. It's like perfect
And she's a local agent and she went through like those painful
experiences.
experiences. So I think it's very relatable to anybody who's thinking about getting started, because it's a lonely, like every time I meet with a new agent, it's like it's a lonely industry if you're not in the right company.
Right.
You might join and they don't see you as somebody who's producing yet, so they're not going to spend too much time with you, unfortunately. But if you're connected and if you're in the right environment, I think you could do well. But this book, I think it could really help for somebody who's starting.
And also just different personalities. Like you may be just an introverted person, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to do well. So you're not necessarily going to the office and doing all those other things, but having leaders that kind of like see you for who you are as an individual and help guide you is like a game changer for an agent to be set up for success or not.
I mean, so many like online, trainings, like weekly, like every Tuesday, there is a production training, and it's led by people who have been in the industry for many years, and it's like very relevant subjects on like what's going on in the market right now. So somebody jump on there. Like I remember we had an agent who joined us beginning when we first started with EXP, and she was a full-time, she had a full-time job, and she also had a little one, so she could only work from home, but she was able to connect to all the tools within EXP, and EXP has like trainings, like too many trainings sometimes, but like trainings about anything and everything you could think of, live trainings. So she was able to run her business just like she learned real estate by just doing that. She barely called us, and the next thing we know, she's closing deals. And we're like, "How did you do it?" She's like,
Wow.
"I just use
Everything online.
EXP. I just
Yeah.
use EXP platform, and it was fine."
Awesome. All right. So books, now to action items. What would be like if you could suggest one action item for a new agent getting started versus one action item for someone who is trying to take their, business to the next level that kind of has just, gotten to a certain point, a plateau. I was trying to think of the word, a plateau. Yeah. And one action item or a couple.
So we always start first with everybody with time blocking first,
Mhm.
right? Let's put everything that normally falls into your calendar there.
Yeah.
From, waking up to gym, whatever it is. Then afterwards, you dedicate time to prospecting, First thing in the morning should be your prospecting session, but you decide. But like she said, in the morning, you're the freshest. So you
Yeah.
just want to get through that, right? Role play, action items would be, let's say for a new agent, let's get all the contacts off your phone, all the contacts off your social media, all your friends and family, put them into a database or an Excel sheet, whatever it is, and then make a plan. Now you have your schedule of how many people you're going to call within those time blocks. Like first block of hour might be your sphere of influence. That's probably where you want to start. Build a foundation around that. Once you get a deal going or a good rhythm around that, then you can move into something else. Like I'd probably, if I was a brand new agent, I'd dedicate a lot of time there, maybe 2 hours, and just call through everybody and then call through everybody again, right? And then eventually maybe you get an under agreement, then move into expired listings, like she was saying, or for sale by items. Now those are higher skilled required, but there's so many, like even here, there's a group that they role play expires or for sale by owners for free every single Monday through Friday for free. That used to cost us $1,000 a month, right? Now it's free. And then role play, right? Practice like this. You see it like plenty of businesses out there or professional sports. They practice all through the week just to play one game. Over here, for some reason, agents, you know, even me in the beginning, before I got coached and trained and her too, there was no role play. There's no practice, right?
Like
But-
it seems like it's something that is not necessary, but then you're sitting in front of a seller and you're like talking about everything but the house. Then you're like, okay, maybe I should really prepare for this.
And social media is a big piece of this too, right? So dive into social media. Don't be a secret agent.
Yeah. And I think for somebody who is maybe hitting a plateau, I think it kind of applies the same concept that Will is saying, because you might be thinking like, well, like I could think of a couple of agents right now where they're kind of like in the same sales, like the same volume every year. So I'm like, okay, what else are you doing to leverage your business, right? So I mean, like one of the things that we do really well is like we try to leverage out everything we can, so we don't have to be the ones doing it, right? So every time we get a property under agreement, we send it to you and we send it to a TC and our admin, and that's it. Like we don't get involved in any of the paperwork, I mean, if something is kind of falling or whatever, we get involved, but it's pretty much a close for us. It's not a income producing activity at that point.
Right.
So a lot of agents feel like they have to handle the whole transaction, do the paperwork, chase the buyer, chase the lender, all that stuff. And I think that takes a long time, and that's why they can grow, and that's why they can, continue adding more sales to their. So that's another thing that I would say. Just hire a TC. I know of an amazing one. I'm happy to share it. She's great, and just using leverage. I think that's
The other
important.
thing also, I didn't mean to cut you off,
It's good.
is, learn from other people's mistakes also. She had a mentor. I had my coaches, my mentors. We learned through them. We partnered up. We split deals together. I wanted to see the presentation through Dan, through Rich, through everybody that I saw that was doing really well. I wanted to be there, and I was willing to part, 50% of my commission just to see what they were doing.
Right.
Pay them, right? For they already made the mistakes. I don't need to make them anymore. So I would say find a mentor, find a coach, find an environment that they're doing what you want to do. And
Yeah.
then copy and paste. That's pretty much life.
That's it. And it's so interesting because for those watching that are not real estate agents, but are lenders or attorneys, like that's how I grew too. It's hard though for someone who is, I'm type A in my business very much. And like letting go and leveraging was a big, like it took a while for me to accept that, but it was seeing agents like you guys and other agents in the business, because people, lawyers don't really talk about networking or leverage or any of these things. At least the circles that I was around were not talking about that. It was like other things that lawyers were, concerned with. But being able to see what agents were doing and saying, okay, I can do something like that. And goal setting, I should do that. Goal setting was never something that lawyers really talked about. But those are things that are all just kind of universal as a salesperson or just in a relationship building career. So that's awesome. And then just the last two questions. First, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
He's an analytic over here. I'm like, I don't know. I see myself on a beach somewhere. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. He's like thinking over here the numbers and everything. So we have so with our one of our sponsor and one of our mentors and coaches here in EXP, we just had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. It's like, and he asked us like, what do you see yourself in the next 3 years? Because 5 years might feel too far,
Right.
and
That's
1 year might feel too soon. So 3 years feels achievable, right? So we kind of came up with a number like 500 agents, right? So our goal is to grow what we're having over here and to just continue like locally and then hopefully in different states and in Colombia, EXP's in Colombia, in so many countries, 24 countries. So like just growing, right? And just I see myself just mentoring, coaching agents. Like that's my goal, like stepping out of production and just stepping more into a mentor and a coach role. And I think he loves like public speaking too, and I let him speak, but
Only when they pull the string in the back, is that what it is?
yeah.
That's it.
Um,
Yes, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Word
so-
is. Like this morning, she was texting me this whole story. She wanted
Oh
me to
my
go,
God.
and I said,
I'm
"Wow."
like, I got something to tell you. And he's like, like, when you do the message, like you click on the message and put the question mark
Yeah.
instead of, and I'm like, oh, this and this. And then he put like
One word
like
responses.
this thing, like, and I'm like, man of no words. Can
Give
you
me
just
something else. Come on,
interact
give me
here with what I'm telling you?
You gotta guard
This
your
is
mind.
juicy. This is juicy stuff. We gotta
Guarded my mind.
like, get those words out.
Next time, it's send me the juicy story. I'll give you a
I
whole.
know.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not the man that I need to talk to when I have juicy stuff.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, and then lastly, just to close out, secret to success. What do you feel like is the number one secret to success?
So it kind of ties into what you just asked, right? Time, like for some reason, like the last year, I've been thinking about time even more
Yeah.
because of my daughter, the oldest one, not the youngest one. The oldest one is 16, and I could see, how time flies. I only have like maybe 3-4 years with her, and that's it before she maybe takes off.
Yeah.
Right. The secret is, just make the most of it, just be in the moment. I was always in the mindset of like chasing. That's the way because I felt like I was always behind. But maybe the time blocking affected, I'm sure it did. I'm more in the moment now, not 100%, but most of the times I'm like, this is it. This is a journey. I
This is
need
the
to appreciate
destination.
this is it.
This is the day.
Because once I get to 3 years from now, then if that was it, then I'm gonna feel empty. Like Veronica tells a story. It's like when the astronauts finally made it to the moon, what did they have to go afterwards?
Right.
That was it.
The biggest achievement of their lives.
So it's just enjoying these moments, like these agents, like turning those appointments, like she was saying, like Sam committed to the process and now he's seeing the results, or just like anybody just achieving something that, Tati buying a house for the first time ever. These are the moments, right here. So just like appreciating that
Yeah.
every single day.
Staying present.
Staying present.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for spending time with me this morning. I will obviously link you guys and all your information and the video, but have a great Friday and thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.